Alright, EfilDay 21, I guess. Yeah, don't really have a direction here, as concise as it should be, but anyway, just thinking about futility, thinking about the Matrix line, there is no spoon. Well, there is no cheese. We're chasing an illusion. We're chasing something that can't be kept, can't be held, can't be. You just can't finish this thing. You can't do this game. You can't play the game to win. You can just play the game to keep playing the game, and the game is open to so much risk, so many cliffs that the longer you play, sooner or later you're going to be a cliff dweller, and then you're going to be a rock faller honor, and that's just the odds of playing. If you're at all risk adverse, rationally risk adverse, you should take some pause and say, wait a minute, what am I setting this something up for? This new individual I would say I would create. It's going to be very unlikely that it's going to live some kind of charmed life. A charmed life is really, 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 really hard to find. Even Randolph Hearst and his trillions and his statues and his mansion and his 25-foot fireplace and all of that crap couldn't save him, from despair in the end, from loneliness and rosebud, lamenting a past lost. Yeah, I mean, we hit plateaus in our life, and then where do we go from there? There's nowhere to go but down, usually. We bask in the sun, and then we fall down, and then we have to try to rebuild our oasis, our paradise. And there's sharks in the water, and the sand is coarse and abrasive in the wind. There's no perfection, there's no paradise. And the game we're playing, like I said, has such a downside risk. So again, I'll just use the simple metaphors quickly. For the imposition. I mean, this really isn't about the imposition, but it's got to be understood that that's the risk of the game. You can't play the game on hope. You have to play the game on realistic expectations, and this is the truth of the game. If you play it, it's like nuclear power. You can't pretend there's not going to be human error. You can't pretend that stupid things aren't going to happen. You can't pretend that you're going to control it and force it into perfection. You can't have children and have that expectation that you're going to be able to fix it, that all broken is going to be within your grasp and within your competence to do something about. There's going to be circumstances that are possible, that are just bleak and horrid, and there will be a victim. And you will be responsible. And if you can't find in yourself a little bit of fear, a little bit of humility in taking responsibility for imposing that on somebody, I don't know what to say. I mean, that's just way too stupid. I mean, way, way, way too stupid. I mean, really, so stupid that there's no, people talk about determinism and people not being responsible. I think we are determined, but you can certainly point to something and say, that is way too stupid. I mean, that's just dumb. It doesn't matter whether it couldn't help it. It's dumb. We can say that. Yeah. If you don't want to be responsible for being dumb, you don't have to be responsible for it. You just are. It doesn't matter whether you're taking responsibility for your dumbness. The fact is that you are, and you're just dumb. All right, now, I mean, I'm not even getting into evil and crazy and all these other words, but it's just dumb if you can't be paused by putting someone else at risk of horror. So anyway. Metaphor would be everybody wants to go to Disneyland. There's one individual who's really kind of feeble and sickly, and he doesn't want to go. He just wants to stay in bed and be left alone. He has a migraine headache. And you're basically saying, no, we want to go. You're going to have to go. It's all or nothing, like nuclear power or some other decision. It's all or nothing. And so you're coming along for the ride, whether you like it or not. I personally couldn't do that. Maybe you can. I can't. I can't see any possibility that I could go up to this feeble, suffering individual and say, I'm going to make it worse. Here we go. Why? Because I want to go play a game. I want to go eat some cheese. So get it, well, I will get back to the theme, which is there is no cheese. The other metaphor being used is Dr. Frankenstein creates monsters in his castle. 7 of the monsters go out the front door, happy and deluded in thinking they're accomplishing something and pretty and clean, and the other 3 go out the back door, deformed, broken, miserable. They find even the air uncomfortable. It hurts their throats. It's just none of it makes any sense to them. And what's the rational thing for them to do as monsters, as victims? To just take it, to just say, well, let's just kill each other, let's just kill ourselves? Or is it their obligation to try to stop more monsters from coming out the back door? I think you can logically understand why I might be a little bit aggressive, a little bit motivated to get in your business. If your business is producing not only my pain, but the pain I can imagine, the pain I can see in the world. It's on your hands. You're the one saying, let's do it. Okay? So you can't run away from that. You're voting for it. I shouldn't fuck you for your vote. I shouldn't say, God damn it, you're my enemy. You're hostile to my rational perception of what should be. Come on, get real. You suck. Yeah, your values suck. Because you're obsessed with thinking you can keep climbing. You're going to get somewhere. You're going somewhere. You can't go anywhere. It's a roller coaster. It's a kid's toy. It doesn't have any substance. You're just chasing a delusion, and that's it. You won't be able to hold on to it. Just like last night's dinner. It's going to come out of you. Okay? It's going to leave, and you're going to have to put more back in. You're just not going to get there. And it's sort of important to look at destinations. And then in the overview of this, just as our individual lives end up rosebuddy, end up lamenting and wanting, sometimes people just, in the end, they're just desperately wanting for a tiny bit of peace because their body has become so hostile to them. Desperately wishing for the gruel, they found so repulsive in their youth. Just give me that bad day of bad porridge, because it'd be so much better than the horror they're living. That doesn't disturb you. That doesn't scare you. It doesn't hurt you to imagine all that tragedy. How many people, how many billions of people have had their very guts ripped out, in a sense, emotionally by horrible, horrible circumstances. The taking of all that's valuable. It's like, I don't know. I mean, life is like you build the David. You build the bit of perfection. You might get it. And this obnoxious hammer comes down and cracks it and shatters it and breaks it into a bunch of little tiny pieces, and it's all gone in the end. All that's been is gone. It leaves just a stink or a residue or a little black and white image. Leaves little, if anything, behind. Anything of durable value, of durable substance. And it's such a high price. And so where's it go? What are you chasing? Are you going to chase some new chase? Is there some new game here besides winning these minor victories? gaining your little moment where you paint a few perfect brush strokes and then your hand goes retarded and you can never do it again. And that's what your definition of a good time is. That's a fun journey. Again, it's my nightmare. Yeah, I can't share your perception of accomplishment in enduring the having and the losing. It is back to, all these fairy tales, and they just put happily ever after at the end. There is no happily ever after. There's tumors and nursing homes and shit, and there's even Romeo and Juliet. The only way you could end that play is with this tragedy, this almost perfect tragedy, of death, quick and done with it. Because where was it going to go? Was it going to get better? Were they going to climb some new beautiful mountain? No, I'm afraid not. It wasn't going to get better. It was going to get harder and rougher and dirtier, and it would just degrade. And you can't lament that. You can't say that is a problem. That's a problem with this game. Is that we can't go somewhere and stay there. We have to just keep getting a little tiny bit of the drug, a little bit of heroin at a time, a little drop. We can't stay satisfied. We can't stay complete. And then overall, if you look at the biggest picture, yes, the universe is going to kill the human race. It's going to kill the planet Earth eventually. It's going to end eventually anyway. So all we're talking about is, how many more tickets we're going to hand out before we just say this is a closed play. We've been there and done this all over the place, almost every way you can do it. And in so many ways we can see how our culture is sort of, it's become bulimic, or it's become sick in a way. It doesn't produce anything anymore. It just takes the old poo and puts it on the plate and puts some garnish on it and tries to resell us old ideas and old themes. Creativity doesn't have doesn't have anywhere to go. We've hit all the keys on the piano, all the ways you can hit them, in a way. We're running out of gas anyway. Running out of the gas of new, and then we're just becoming overtly redundant. And so we can do this gracefully, or we can do it hard, and that's the only question. Will you drive the human race over the cliff, down the rocks, bang, bang, crash, crash, smash, smash, fire, blood, guts, or will you gracefully, just gracefully, put on the brake and then turn off the key? It's really not that difficult to figure this out. You have two choices. Do it like a slob, or do it intelligently and compassionately and sensibly and gracefully. And you're going to just, out of obstinance, out of just petty obstinance, out of human ego crap, some sort of notion of your fantasticness, you're going to just sit there and say, no, 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 step on the gas, step on it harder. And you're going to drag everybody else with you. And people like we aren't supposed to sit in the back seat and say, you son of a bitch. You fucking son of a bitch. Yeah, I'm sorry. This does, we all do impose on each other. You cannot avoid this imposition. And you're imposing risk. And I'm arguing that that's the one thing we have no right to do. You want to impose fruit salad? Well, that's okay. Go ahead and impose fruit salad. But do not impose risk, you friggin' bastards. Do not impose something lesser than what was possible. Wow. Yeah, right. Do not impose less than your full measure of obligation. If you can't do it right, don't do it. Yeah, okay. Enough, I believe. Yeah, okay, until next time. I don't know what the fuck.